Mexico has West African ancestry and the root is actually West Africa. How do we know where a lot of these groups came from during slavery? The early period, we saw an influx of people from and please forgive me if I do not pronounce these correctly, Wolof, Mande, and Mandinga tribes, and these were the first tribes that were brought into Nueva España, which is modern-day Mexico, and many of them were multilingual. Then by the 17th century, there was a shift, and there was more Kikongo and Kibundu tribes and Kibundu speakers. That's where I talked about how the word chingar is actually Kibundo, because that is the 17th century shift in what people were brought into Mexico during slavery. A lot of them came through the Veracruz port, but there's also an East African route where East African people were brought to Mexico from the Manila-Acapulco route. A lot of people think that only people from China or Philippines came from that route, but also East African people were brought to Mexico. And that includes from Somalia and other parts of East Africa, and they arrived into Acapulco as well. So a lot of the African populations that were brought into Mexico during colonialism also stayed there. It's not like they went home. They influenced the culture. They built Mexico. They helped influence Mexico. The Spanish colonial system encouraged mixing. It encouraged people to have babies with each other. If a Black man who was enslaved had a baby with an indigenous woman, the baby would be free. So there are other ways. And then also if a Black person had a baby with a Spanish person, the baby would be free. So there's a lot of huge differences in the colonial system in Mexico, in Nueva España, and during the colonial period. But a lot of the populations that were brought from West Africa, from East Africa into Mexico have a huge impact on the Mexican culture.